today's webinar. It's episode 1. It will be about account-based marketing and how you can succeed with account-based marketing, influencing decision making and closing deals. Right. I'm Victor Karlsson, co-founder of Albacross. I'm today's host, actually. So I'm hosting this webinar. I'm joined by my awesome colleague, Mikkel Magnusson. Please, Mikkel, can you present yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Michael, Mikhail, whichever one works with me. I have been here with Albacross for 3 months now. Before that, I spent the last 8 years in Silicon Valley in San Francisco, helping small and medium-sized businesses succeed with marketing, email marketing, SEO, as well as account-based marketing.
Cool.
Me and my wife had a child a couple of months ago, so we decided to move back home to Sweden. And I actually caught an ad from Albacross, and it said that we wanted to make account-based marketing available and accessible, affordable to all, which really triggered something in me, because in the past, ABM has been reserved for bigger corporations and has been kind of expensive.
Yeah.
So I got on the phone with Victor, and he explained it a little bit more to me. And a few days later, I sent him my resume, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So short background about Albacross. We've been around for almost 4 years. We are a VC-funded startup from Stockholm, Sweden, and we aim to democratize account-based marketing globally, making it available for everyone, because we know how effective it can be, actually. Let's get started, Michael.
Let's get started.
I've been waiting for this. So what are we going to talk about today? What's the agenda?
Today we are going to talk, we're going to talk about account-based marketing, because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're going to see why you should use account-based marketing, or why anyone should. We're going to have a look at the Albacross way of account-based marketing and see exactly how easily we book a campaign in our tool. We're going to cover some best practices and tips to get ahead of the curve while we run through it. And then we're going to have a look at a few different success stories of campaigns that have succeeded really well.
Cool.
And then we're going to do a little Q&A at the end.
Yeah. So if you have any questions during this webinar, can you please save them for the Q&A, and we can have a really nice discussion with all of you on all the topics that you may have seen during the webinar.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's continue then.
Mm-hmm.
Account-based marketing. So, Michael, what's account-based marketing? What is it about?
Well, I could do the boring approach and read what's on the screen, but so could you. Really, it's a strategic way of engaging your target accounts, the ones that you have identified as awesome for you, that would really be attracted by your product, or that you could attract with their product, whatever it might be.
Okay.
In layman's term, you choose the companies, and we advertise to them and to them only.
Okay, so then I have a second question for you here.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between traditional digital B2B marketing compared to this new way, account-based? Can you explain that for me and for the audience?
Well, Victor, I'm glad you asked. So what we're looking at right now is the traditional marketing funnel. It starts wide and ends narrow. What account-based marketing does, it turns that upside down on its head. So the traditional way is you attract people to your site, and then you get them to fill out forms or leave traces behind. You nurture them with emails and phone calls, whatever it might be, and then eventually you identify which companies you can target with the whole sales process. Account-based marketing flips that, and on the other hand, we start with identifying the target companies. If you guys do an awesome job identifying who could be a potential prospect,
yeah,
then we after that engage those accounts with personalized content. That's the beauty of ABM. I can do something very narrow so that I focus on a specific vertical of businesses. And after that, we build a long-lasting relationship with them throughout the sales process.
Okay. So glad that you explained that for me. But next question here. I know a lot of people are talking about marketing automation, lead nurturing, lead scoring, and I mean there are tools out there like Marketo, Pardot, HubSpot. What's the difference here?
Well, the difference is, again, like we saw on the last slide, it's upside down. Marketing automation is you spread brand awareness throughout different channels across a wide net of different companies. And then they might show interest by going to your website, and then you narrow the funnel down a little bit more with some email nurturing, eventually to convert a few.
Okay.
Account-based marketing starts on the top. You identify and you target a specific account. We identify the stakeholders within the company, and then we nurture, and eventually they convert. It's I think it's you that told me this when we first met. It's kind of like fishing with a net versus fishing with a spear. Traditional marketing automation is you throw out the net. You might get a couple of sea bass. You might get a pike. You might get some rocks and maybe even some seaweed. You still have quality fish in there, but you also have a whole lot else. Account-based marketing, you throw your spear at the barracuda if you want the barracuda. If you want the sea bass, you throw it at the sea bass. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I heard somewhere last week that that only 50% actually of all the sales qualified leads are followed up by sales. What can you say about that?
It's a disconnect between the marketing department in many corporations and the sales department. Marketing creates, and they do an awesome job doing it, make a lot of leads for the sales division that then kind of pick and choose which ones they want to contact. So yeah, 50% sounds about right.
Okay, so then when it's come further, then I mean, it's all about who makes the decision. I mean, how many decision makers do we have today when it comes to B2B?
Well, if we start looking back, just a couple of years ago, there was 1, 2, or 3 decision makers per company.
Okay.
The top level executives, those are the people you wanted to reach. In today's market, we have seen a trend towards more people. It takes about 40% more stakeholders today to make a B2B sales decision. Up to 17 people are involved before the decision is actually made.
I see. So next, who makes the decision nowadays?
Well, that kind of ties in with the last slide. It's people make decisions, and the C-suite level executives obviously have final say. But we have seen throughout the years, just look at the numbers on the screen, 2012 and 2014, there's a big difference. The decision makers are getting younger, and they're getting to be less and less C-suite members of staff. So they're less senior, less classically decision makers, and they're getting younger.
I know we had a case a couple of weeks ago, right? When we were about to choose a new CRM tool.
Okay.
Can you please tell a story, Michael? Because you were in the, decision-making process here.
Yes, absolutely. So to start it from the get-go, who am I within a company like this, right? If we pretend that we're targeting this company, I am a success manager. I'm not necessarily the traditional decision maker, but when it came time for us to pick a CRM, I did my research. I selected the few that I was interested in. I landed on one, and then I presented that to my CEO, the other Victor. And he signed on the dotted line, really. But the decision was all mine and my colleagues that actually have to work in it all day long.
Yeah, I think that's a really good case, actually, and pretty much how it probably works in B2B nowadays. I want to move over to the challenge in the B2B sales process. I mean, they can be long and heavy, and I think that you have a few words to say about this, right?
A few. You hit the nail on the head, Victor. It is long and heavy. As we see on this graph right here, or at least the left one, we have the typical sales curve of the very, very long journey starting with the cold call, landing with the meeting. Eventually, there's an event. There's another meeting. The problem is the time that passes between those points of contact.
I think that's the right graph, right?
Yes. Oh, it's the right one. Sorry. And in between these points of contact, clients or potential clients lose interest. They lack attention. They forget about you. So the next time you meet them, it's all about reselling yourself, really, instead of taking it one step further. The way account-based marketing plays into this is by layering on top, like that white line you see, to maintain awareness and attention in between points of contact, and also saving the account from dropping into that dark blue zone where all your competitors are running around like sharks trying to swoop them up.
So I guess you have some experience from this when you worked in a SaaS company in Silicon Valley?
Yes, a few. I never actually was involved in the sales process myself, but I helped a lot of businesses navigate through this. And it's been so many times. If I do an example client, for instance, a very well-known hairdressing studio, that's a chain in California, we're trying to land one of the biggest, I don't know, I guess shampoo brands would be the proper term to put it. But they really struggled with, they sent out an email, they gained interest, they booked a meeting for 2 weeks out, 2 weeks out, the client's gone. They sold their product elsewhere. So next time we ran this, we ran it along with some ABM, maintained exposure between the points of contact, and we're actually able to shorten the sales process quite significantly.
Cool. That's cool. So great. We'll continue. Next slide will be about how you can use account-based marketing. We talked about a few examples here already, but engage named accounts and top targets. Can you please tell us something more about the different areas of usage?
Absolutely. So all of these four, you could use account-based marketing individually. You can use it for number one, you can use it for two, etc. Or you can use it for all four combined. Number one, you engage your named account and top targets. You pick the accounts and you engage them from the get-go. Your top targets would be ideal instead of selecting your bottom targets, I would say. Number two, pipeline, you accelerate that sales process. That's really the name of the game in B2B sales. Number three, cross-selling and frameworks agreements. Maybe you have a client that you are currently working, but you could sell them even more stuff. Why not make them aware that you also do this in order to maximize the portfolio? Number four, defend. As we saw on the previous slide, you defend your prospects by maintaining brand awareness so that your shark competitors don't swoop in. But you could also use it towards your key accounts. Your key accounts are there, they're paying, but maybe they're looking elsewhere. Who knows? Or maybe someone swoops in asking if they want to join them for a lower price, whatever it might be.
Cool.
So either one of these four is a good avenue. I would say the best ABM campaigns does all four.
Yeah. An awesome ABM strategy then, having all the four on this. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I only have one more slide before we can move over to the demo where you will show us how you can start a campaign and work with our self-service account-based marketing software. It's some proof data about account-based marketing coming from different sources out there. What's your favorite, Michael?
My favorite, I got to say, is SiriusDecisions right there. 92% of marketers say that it's a must-have strategy for the current B2B marketplace. These are all super awesome numbers, but I mean, they speak for themselves, and I think the consensus is that if you haven't tried it, people are very interested. For those who have tried it, they are very pleased with the results.
I think next thing is choosing a platform to work with, and that's where we're coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's move over to our demo.
To a little demo.
Yeah. Please.
All right. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to turn off the camera so that we can focus on the actual demo. So
Perfect.
1 second.
Perfect.
And now we're going to have a look at this. Now, I hope that you guys can see my screen as well as I can. Here is Albacross and our self-service account-based marketing platform. We're just skipping over the whole tracking and lead generation part of our platform
Yeah,
because
please do that.
it doesn't really matter for us today. In this view, I get to add the companies that I'm interested in.
Okay.
I did my research, so I know that my companies are in Sweden.
Nice.
So I'm going to add Sweden as a filter. And I know that I want to go after Spotify.
Spotify.
Hopefully I can spell today. Perfect. Next one I have is Volvo Cars. Awesome company to direct stuff against. Perfect. Now, when I click that add button, they get put in my target list. Running a campaign with 2 targets, that's slightly low.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to reset this free search. And I am going to add an industry code of computer consultancy.
Oh.
Perfect. Now, that gives me,
910
that's a lot of companies. I should probably go with those that have Serious Bank stashed away. I got 17 companies in computer consultancy with 200 or more employees in Sweden. I am, I could cherry pick in this list, or I just go ahead and I add all of those companies. It's as easy as that.
Yeah. So you can also upload a CSV file directly into the platform. I mean, you can extract that from Salesforce or from any other CRM tool. You can just follow this guide. I don't think that we should go through that today.
It's a little bit too complicated. So
yeah.
we'll keep it simple.
Now.
Yeah.
Let's continue then.
Perfect. Now, before we move on from this screen, I got some good to knows.
Okay.
Yeah. Good to know number 1, publishers and specifications.
Okay.
This page will give you a selection of the most premium publishers that we actually publish on, as well as the top 6 banner formats to use for that country. Now, of course, if you're going global, there's also a category for global.
Oh, that's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a campaign targeting accounts in different countries, then I can use the global specification, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, very nice,
Mm-hmm.
very nice.
So once we're back here, what I can do now, hold your horses. Good to know number 2, account-based marketing. The point is to target specific accounts and accounts that I have thought about. So I recommend, and I know Victor also recommends this, to keep your target list somewhere between about 20 to 50 companies. If we do that, we can run multiple smaller campaigns and really custom make the banners as well as the landing pages based on the vertical we're going for.
I totally agree, Michael. That's a very, very solid idea to do. Since personalized content, personalized landing pages, that will affect the campaigns a lot. So.
Yes. So for the sake of it, since we're at 19, let's add Albacross to that mix. We're at 20 now.
Okay, let's continue.
Perfect. We're moving on. Just by double checking our target list, everything looks good. I move on to the next step. Now, this is technically the first step of actually creating the campaign in the tool. First off, I'm going for brand awareness at this point. I get to name my campaign if I want to. And of course, landing page, super important. So for us, we're going to go with book demo. And of course, if you have a UTM tag, this is where you put that.
Yeah. I mean, we are fully transparent with the traffic we're driving to the landing pages. So if you wanna put specific UTM tags or other tags, put them here, and you can follow the traffic through other systems, right?
Absolutely. Ready to go next?
I'm ready.
Perfect. Now we're in the budgeting and scheduling tool. Now, for a campaign like this, I would say that we go with about €2 per company per day, just for the fun of it.
Okay.
And we're actually going to go with 6 months because we have an awesome deal.
Oh, yeah, you have a discounter.
Yeah, apparently. 6 months or more, 10% or more.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice of you, Michael.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
I made that happen just for you, Victor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what am I getting here? Estimated views.
Yes, exactly. So before we move further, some of you out there might wonder what the pricing is.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do the math by dividing 20 euros by 6 months and all that jazz, we charge 20 euros CPM.
Okay.
20 euros per 1,000 views. That's the only cost you're going to encounter in Albacross. So that being said, if I put my daily budget at 20 euros, I run it for 6 months, I end up with 191,000 views during the course of 6 months with a total budget of 3,800 euros.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can even see the level of discount I'm getting.
So, so the case here, you're targeting your 20 most valuable potential accounts for around 3,800 euros for 6 months campaign.
Yeah, exactly. Very price worthy.
Yeah, that's nice, Michael.
Yeah.
I would like to go further now, but I'm just a host, so
I have a good to know on this screen as well.
Of course, yeah.
We recommend that we've seen the greatest success with campaigns that allot about 1.5 to 2.5 euros per company per day.
Okay.
Just because it's all about brand awareness and really maintaining exposure. And we've seen the best results of campaigns lasting 3 months or more.
Okay.
It takes time because the sales process is really long.
I see.
Perfect. Last thing I do is I set my start date. If y'all want to run shorter campaigns, we do have a minimum duration of 3 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect. Ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. So the next step, where we make or upload the ads. Now, as you saw on that specifications page, there's a list of 6 per country to use.
Yep.
I recommend having them designed in advance so that once you get to this step, you just click upload your own, either in a picture format or in an HTML.
Okay.
I have 2 that I want to use. See if I got them right here.
Oh, that's our Albacross ads, right?
That's our own, exactly. I use them because they're awesome. So at this point, I will name my ads. It's for this one, let's do test.
And you can preview them also, right?
I can preview them before I save them or after I save them.
Okay. Cool.
Or both. I recommend previewing more than you don't. Yeah. Because you never know what's going to happen. Now, good to know when it comes to banners, things to consider. There's a reason I use these 2 as an example. Cool. A good banner, or the best banner we have seen here at Albacross, is one that is very similar to this one. Static, not moving, because people don't have time to wait around for the animation, with a very clear branding included. Yep. A very clear and concise call to action button. You'd be surprised how much of a difference that button actually makes.
Yeah, I can think that.
People sometimes want to be told what to do. Yeah. And a short story / text / case. If you have a case that could be relatable to the segment of companies that you're going for, then I would recommend that the most.
Cool.
So I'm happy with those 2 banners, and I move next. Unless you had any questions, Victor.
I can see that we have a couple of questions here in the chat. Should we take them before we continue?
Absolutely.
So we have a question here from Eric. If you have 20 targets accounts, 190K views is large. How flexible are you when you choose 6 months? Or do you need to pay the 3,500 euros once chosen?
Yeah, well, excellent question, Eric. No, you don't have to pay that once chosen. We invoice weekly based on delivered views or impressions, as we call them. 191,000 views for 20 companies might seem a lot, but it's spread out over 6 months. And what we're really trying to do is hammer in that you guys or whoever runs the campaign is the best one. They're the most visible one, and that's the one they should go with.
Cool. So one more question. I only want to target CMOs and CEOs, for instance. Is that possible, Michael?
No. What we do is we target that the company use.
Okay.
Yeah, and it ties into, if you remember from the slideshow, the trend that we have more and more decision makers per company, increasing by the day, really. Targeting CMOs and CEOs only would be really non-effective.
I see. So a second question here from Jonathan, just before we continue.
Yeah.
What do you see as a good CTR for a campaign like this?
Top 20 accounts. Well, we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but a good CTR we're going to cover in about 5 minutes. So hold your horses, Jonathan. We'll get to it.
Okay, cool. So let's continue then, Michael.
Perfect. So we go next from this step, and we end up on the never-ending boring step. Credit card details, or to me, this screen is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
But for you guys, I understand it's not that fun. As I said, we invoice weekly on impressions delivered. We do not exceed your budget, and if we do not deliver the purchase impressions, we only charge for what we actually deliver.
Cool.
Perfect. So, did we have another question?
Yeah, we have one more here from Gordon. We can take that just before we move over to
Cool.
to the campaign overview. In the future, will it be possible somehow to target specific departments within a single company, Michael?
That is something that I have considered a lot. Do you know at this point in time, Victor, where we are with that?
So it will probably be possible. We are working on it right now, but I'm sorry, Gordon, I can't give you any kind of estimation on when that can be out there.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
stay tuned.
Yeah. Anyway, a very solid question.
Perfect.
I
So-
am ready to move over to the campaign overview because I'm very curious on how it looks like after I book the campaign.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to click this next step because in that case, we're booking a campaign that we don't.
Okay.
But once you guys do and the campaign kicks off, you are able to, through my campaigns up here, track it in real time minus about 20 seconds.
Oh.
How awesome is that?
That's very nice.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a date filter. Depending on which campaigns I actually want to investigate, if I have several. And I am wanting to look at my finished campaigns and give it a moment to load. We have a lot of campaigns, Victor.
Yeah, we have.
So
it's down there, Albatross key
it's
accounts.
down there. Oh, now it's
Oh.
up there.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. I select it, and right from this view, I actually get a whole lot of useful information. Right now, I can see that this is our key accounts campaign that we ran beginning of the year. I can see how many views it actually delivered overall. I can see how many clicks we got out of it.
Back to the question about CTR then.
Yep. This campaign had a 0.18 CTR.
Oh.
Now, the question is, what is a good CTR for a campaign like this?
Yeah.
Since we're actually choosing our market very carefully, a CTR of 0.18 is actually really high.
Yeah. Wait a second, Michael. We have a question from Robert here. He says 316 clicks for 25,000 euros. That was only the budget. You can see here on the spent.
Mm-hmm.
If
The
you
spent was actually 3,500 on this campaign.
Yeah.
Before we stopped it.
So no worries for that.
No worries. But
this-
back to the
Yeah, and this was just a test campaign, so that's why the total budget was very high. Let's continue, Michael.
perfect. No. Back to the CTR. 0.18.
Yep.
Really nice for a campaign like this. The Swedish average for banner ads. Can you guess what that is?
Oh, 0.2.
0.02.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. So 0.2 for 0.18 is actually really nice. Now, further on, I get the parameters that I set earlier. I get the start date, end date. As Robert pointed out, I also see the daily budget and the total
yeah.
and how much we have spent.
And if you have several campaigns, you can scroll down here to see the total spending for all of your campaigns. So you will get a total overview. Yeah.
Complete transparency.
Yeah. So can we continue and have a look at the overview, Michael?
Absolutely. Overview here gives us a nice looking graph when it comes to how many views delivered. Now, of course, y'all might be wondering what these dips are. Now, they're, of course, weekends.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I see.
Since we're targeting companies, right?
Yeah.
Now, we actually found quite a lot of people that work during the weekends.
Yeah, that's true.
Moving on, we can see exactly which publisher, top 20 publishers where these ads were shown.
Cool. What can you tell us about publishers in general? Where are the ads placed?
That's a very good question, and I'm surprised I skipped that when we were on this screen. So for Sweden, these are the top publishers.
Okay.
It's not everybody.
Yeah.
We publish ads across really all international, national, and local media.
Okay.
Industry-specific sites and everyday sites where people tend to spend time when they're at work.
Okay.
We also have a blacklist which excludes all the bad sites, really.
That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people here are interested in looking at how the campaign affects the different companies in the target list.
Mm-hmm.
How does it work?
So I click companies here, and that's of course the bread of all this. I get to examine on a company by company basis what the name of the company is, how many views they got delivered, and how many clicks. So from this information, of course, I can determine a few different things. I can determine how much brand awareness this company has at the moment, how much exposure they have actually seen, and I can determine how much interest they had paid. 49 clicks for OMD Sweden. Now, obviously, that's going to be a different kind of sales call than for, say, this company down here that clicked it 4 times. They didn't really show that much interest, but they have awesome brand awareness, so it's a different kind of sales call.
Yeah, for sure.
You also get an individual CTR per company too, so that you can gauge exactly how interested they are compared to their views.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Now, since we believe in full transparency, there's also going to be a few companies here on the bottom which have a 0. Those could run ad block devices. They have high security settings on their browsers, or they just not spend all that much time on different publishers.
It can happen. So I think the last part here is looking at the ads.
Yep, absolutely. We can investigate the ads and see exactly the stats per, see how they look, and see how they performed.
Cool.
Yeah.
So before we move over to our export functionality, where you can export the campaign data, basically, we have a question from Carlos here. Can we find a list of the local media you advertise on? I guess Carlos can send an email to campaign@albacross.com.
Mm-hmm. To get the full list, exactly.
Yeah, and Carlos, please include in that which country, which market, etc. And we will give you that data for sure.
Absolutely. Perfect. So exporting the report.
Yeah, I would love to do that, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I go back to campaigns here, there's a little button called export.
Okay.
Look at that, simple. I click it and I can select which campaign I want to export, as well as the format. If I want to present it to someone in a PDF, or if I'm a numbers person, I want to crunch some numbers in Excel.
Yeah, I like the PDF version here. I know we have a lot of media agencies and partners working in Albacross, and this is a functionality that a lot of people like because it's very easy to export the data to colleagues and to customers and so on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially for the agencies that run campaigns for their clients.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what can I see here?
We get a summary of the entire campaign, how many views, how many companies actually saw it, how many clicks, how many companies clicked it, the CTR, top 10 publishers, a nice looking graph for the views, a graph for the clicks, the advertisement data that we looked at earlier, as well as the individual companies. All companies who've seen it at least once are included on this list.
Yeah, okay, so... Okay, thank you, Michael.
No problem.
So, okay, do we have any questions from you guys looking at this webinar before we move over to a few customer cases that we have prepared? We have a question from Ivan here directly. Thanks for that one, Ivan. Again, about targeting. Do you believe targeting a whole, say, 5K employees company while there are only 7 people who somehow connected to a buying process, according to you, is a good idea? What can you say about that, Michael?
Well, it's the 17 people who are connected to the buying process is, of course, related to the size of the company.
Yeah.
The bigger the company, the more, excuse me, the more people are involved in the process of making a decision. And we target the whole database, really, the whole whatchamacallit, network that they use to surf on. That's the way IP targeting through Albacross works.
Yeah. I mean, if you have, let's say, a contract or a large customer, an account that you want to target, and it's a very, very, very valuable deal, I think it's worth it, of course. Next one from Julia. Did I remember correct info about the cost per CPM? Is it 20 euros? Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. We don't charge per the click. We don't charge per banner nor publicist.
Okay.
Just plain old.
That's nice. Okay, we have one more from Julia, and then next, Josephine. Julia, do you plan to expand the list of German publishers? German publishers. I guess that's only an example of publishers.
Yes, exactly. So the site that we just showed, the specifications, those are only the example ones, the top ones. As I said earlier, pretty much all international, national, and local media, industry-specific sites, and everyday sites.
Yeah.
A big one here in Sweden is synonyms.se, where people just tend to hang out. That isn't necessarily a publisher per se.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a couple of hundred publishers in our site list for Germany, for sure. Next question from Josephine. Hi guys, is there a way to measure in Google Analytics to check how effective the Albacross marketing is in terms of conversions? It is.
Yes.
So what you do, Josephine, just set up a specific UTM tag for the Albacross campaign. And then you can follow every conversion directly in Google Analytics, and you can see how much time they spend on the website, etc., etc. So please do that when you create a campaign. Yes, put the UTM tag in the
landing page area.
Yeah, landing page area where you set the URL. We have one more question from Ivan. Thanks a lot, Ivan. What about US publishers?
U.S. publishers, well, it's kind of the same thing as we already talked about. Now, the U.S. market is in beta testing at the moment. We haven't quite kicked it off in the U.S. just yet. If you end up on the Make a Campaigns page, there's a little button to click to announce that you are interested in running something against the U.S. I would advise you to, and as soon as we are ready to go, we'll let you know.
Cool. Yeah, we are experiencing huge interest from the US right now. It's coming, 20 or 30 people interesting every day.
Mm-hmm.
Emma, Italian publishers. Emma, Italian publishers.
Let's have a look at the selection that we have on the site. These are the most premium ones that we're looking at right now. But again, it includes pretty much all international, national, and local media.
So this is just an example. Please, Emma, if you want the full list of publishers in Italy, please send us an email at campaign@albacross.com, and we will for sure provide you with that. Hanu, just a side note, please remove Delphi from the Finnish publishers. It's a Lithuanian site. Oh, sorry, Hanu. We will fix that for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we have got very nice questions.
Mm-hmm.
I would like us to move over to just a few customer cases, and then we'll continue with the Q&A.
With some more questions after that,
Yeah.
Perfect. So we are back here. Case studies. We have 3 case studies prepared today.
Okay.
Do you want to introduce them, perhaps?
We can start with our own case.
Our own case, super targeted branding for Albacross. Now, I know that we just said that we recommend having 20 to 50 companies per campaign.
Yeah.
This was super targeted, directed towards one.
Oh, so yeah. I created this campaign, so I can explain a bit. We did an account-based marketing campaign targeting a an important partner for us, Fossmann Bodenfors, which is an advertising agency. We're targeting them for a couple of weeks, and then I got an email from one of their account director, Carl, who wanted to know how can you do this, and he was so interested, and we booked a meeting. So I guess that was a conversion, right?
Absolutely. So last time we ran a webinar, we got the question if we could run a campaign towards one company, and I think this proves it.
Yeah. So yeah, we can continue with the second case from a Norwegian customer, actually, called Millum. Michael, what can you say about this?
I say that this is a success story when it comes to banners and the layout, as well as the landing page. A lot of effort put into this. The goal of this campaign was to influence decision makers in hotels. And how did they do that? Well, they had a specific article in mind that they directed the ad traffic against.
Okay.
Now, the results right there kind of speak for itself. Increased brand awareness, of course, 170 clicks to article, and they spent an average of 2 minutes and 31 seconds on the page, which tells volumes about the landing page itself.
Yeah, it was a good article, I guess. 4 conversions.
Not too shabby.
No, I know that they are very happy with this campaign, and they are continuing doing a lot of campaigns using account-based marketing by Albacross to drive revenue, basically.
Absolutely. So I just want to add, since we were on the topic of banners earlier, look at that banner. Clear branding, static, a very simple case, and a very clear call to action.
Yeah, a question with an answer, right? Okay, we have a last case study before we move over to the Q&A. This was account-based marketing as employer branding.
Yeah, slightly different.
Yeah, I guess so. What can you say about it, Michael?
This is thinking outside of the box. You could direct account-based marketing the traditional way, or quote-unquote traditional, nothing's traditional about it, towards companies that you want as clients, but you can also use it as a recruitment tool. Like this client did. They wanted to reach the right candidates for their position. They picked top targets, which are undisclosed, aiming to land their employees as possible recruits.
Cool.
Yeah. The results of this, of course, they increased traction and got several job candidates. So I would say that's a success story, if anything.
Cool. So, thanks a lot, Michael, for the presentation and for the customer cases. We are now moving over to
the Q&A.
The Q&A. I think that we should put the camera on again. Actually,
let's put the camera on. Let's do that,
and we can probably post the screen sharing also.
Perfecto.
So. Cool. So we are back in the game here. We have some questions.
Ivan, budget.
Budget.
And budget for?
Ivan, what do you mean by budget? Can you please explain that, and we will answer you directly. It's about second case study. The second case study for Millum. What was the budget?
Oh,
I think it was around 10,000 euros or something.
Overall.
Yeah, overall for, I guess it was a 2 or 3 months campaign.
So Julia, what was the period during your client were running their campaigns you just told us about? All the 3. Well, the first one, the super directed one.
That was 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And the second one was 2 or 3 months. And I actually think that that the employer branding campaign, that's still live, because they are running it all the time as an always-on branding, making sure that they are on top of mind to potential candidates.
That's also a very good point. In the budgeting and scheduling tool, there's an option for always on, which leaves the campaign on up until you decide that you don't want it on anymore.
Yeah. So do we have any more questions in this webinar? Oh, we got one directly Thanks, Julia. Am I able to get the list of German and Polish publishers from Albacross? I would support me before getting permission for our company. Julia, can you please send us an email to campaign@albacross.com with that question, and we will provide you with that directly. Thanks
Perfect.
a lot. Do we have any more questions before we? Yeah, we have from Hanu. Which CRM did you choose?
Should we?
Yeah, please, Michael.
We went with Salesforce. They were the obvious choice for us.
Yeah, and just to make you know, Hanu, we are building an integration to Salesforce, of course. I read a question from Carlos. I read you would also help with bannering.
Bannering. Gotta be making banners.
Making
right?
banners.
Yes.
Yeah, right. We can do that.
Mm-hmm. For a few select clients that do not have the time nor the energy to make banners, we can make them in-house here at cost, so we wouldn't upcharge you of what our designer charges us. We would just need the material, the text, the image, the logo, all that stuff, and we can get something designed for you.
Yeah. So Carlos, if you are planning a campaign and would like us to help you with some banner creation, please book a demo with Michael. He will send out a link after this meeting where you can book a short demo with him, and he will help you to create your first account-based marketing campaign.
Yep, we can even do it together.
Yeah, cool. Dayan, a question from Dayan. I missed the first 15 minutes of this webinar. Will you sending a recording? We will do that, Dayan. We will do that.
More questions?
Yeah, we are happy to help you. Yes, send your questions in the chat and we will help you directly. Michael, are you ready for more questions?
I am ready for more questions.
I hope
you know
so.
what I am super ready for? All the amount of work that's going to pour in after this webinar.
Cool. Will you share the PowerPoint too?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We're thinking of handing it out as a handout at the end of the webinar, actually. So stick around after the last couple of minutes and it should pop up on your screen.
Cool. So we are about to finish this webinar.
Yeah, close the doors on this one.
A question from Gordon before. Is it possible to track IPs from visitor/clicks? Yes, you can sort the campaign based on Albacross clicks.
Yes.
Just go to track and choose sources. And you have LinkedIn, you have Google, you have search, you have Facebook. Also, a short text with Albacross campaign, where you can see the clicks from your own campaign. So I think that can't see any more questions. Michael, thank you very much for joining me today in this webinar.
Well, thank you, sir.
You did a very awesome job. I hope that all of you liked our webinar. We will come back in a week or two with a new webinar, and I hope that you will join us soon again. By the way, we have a webinar tomorrow also about lead generation and lead tracking. And we will go through how you can work with lead generation in our free web tracking tool. I think you will be in that webinar too.
I'll be a guest for sure.
Yeah, so please join that also. How can you sign up to that webinar? We will send you an email about that also, Carlos.
It's a lot of emails.
Nice. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you all for this webinar.
Thank you so much.
I hope to see you soon again, and have a nice evening, and take care, everyone.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.